Okay guys, back for another cast on the druid. I'm currently in Searing George, down here, in the middle sort of on the continent. I flew from the hinterlands where I was last up here, down to actually the neighboring area in Kargath because it's the closest horde base. You can get a fly point to where I am now in Searing George. Searing George. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce this, but I'm gonna call it George. There's an E missing, like in the name George, but I'm not gonna get too stuck up in that. Anyway, this is the place of the faction of the Thorium Brotherhood, and I just picked up. They have a couple of quests, and they are sort of neutral to both factions. There's an alliance fly point over here. I think they have a lot to do with Blackrock Mountain as well, but I'm not too much into that. I know there's a lot of various dungeons and raids and stuff ending up with Ragnaros in Molten Core, etc., etc. But for now, I'm gonna do some more humble quests. I picked up the level 48 and there's a 49 as well. There's some extra couple of quests here, but I'm gonna leave them for now. I still have quite a few, maybe 5, 6 level 48 quests on the other continent, and slowly but surely I'll get up to level 54, and then I might lose some of my precious reputation. So I'm gonna start out with this. I picked up the 49 as well because it's sort of intermingled with the 48s. For instance, there was the 49 as well where I could kill 20 spiders, but 20 spiders with rested experience, it'll all add up pretty fast. So this guy has a 48 as well, and yeah, sure, he wants to tell a story, and it must be this guy. No? Same guy. Yeah, I'm just not that into lore, guys, so it was a little fast listening to his story, but sure. And he gives a new 48 where I have to collect some stuff from the mobs I'm pretty much killing anyway down here, like these guys for instance. I have to kill 20 of these, the one I picked up from above, and now I have to get some drop from them, so that kind of makes sense. So I'm just gonna buff up fully here with no extra stamina, just mana regen stuff. One of the mobs here can drop some kind of key. It's a level 47 quest, the last level 47 quest I got left. But I don't think it offers any reputation, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Yeah, I need some of these guys as well. Fine. Let's see if they are immune to nature damage. There's actually, yeah, a very obvious possibility that they are. So they're gonna enjoy my nice arcane damage here with a nice fat crit for starters. There we go. And the guy was, the elemental was kind enough to give me a quest item. Let's see if this guy likes elemental damage more. Yeah, better. Yeah, so the question is if this elemental will enjoy nature or arcane damage. We'll just have to look into that. This is one of the guys, by the way, that can drop the key that I need, the last level 47 quest. I'm not sure all of the dwarves can, but this guy can. Anyway, let's check it out. Okay. So all of this here is pretty much just kill everything in sight. Yeah, and I was just about to say that this is probably a double pull. So that's not a big deal at this level, but if you are supposed to pull something from behind a tent, maybe you should look first if there's anything else there than just the mob you're pulling. I know that can be an issue later. I saw a video at some point where there was a guy who died due to there was just some mobs hidden inside a tent and stuff. I think it was in Eastern or Western Plague Lands. So he pulled a lot of mobs. They sort of chain pulled when he thought he was pulling one mob. So I think I'm gonna go with this guy. And I actually have 3 or 4 pieces of gear to equip. Hopefully next time. But the chest is I'll show you when I get there. But the chest is I'd like to get it enchanted with 100 mana. I can do 50 myself, so it might end up with that, and that's fine. I guess I can always get the 100 mana when I want, but it would be nice with the extra 50 mana. I can never get it. I can never get too little mana, sort of. But yeah, nice grindy quests here. It's almost like coming to Strangleton Vale or something like that for the first time. So this is the elemental guy, I think. I'm just gonna see if I can get 2 of these casts in before he hits me. I probably can. Nope. Cast time on this is 3.4. Nice fat crit here. Let's see. Yeah. And what to look out for here, all that I know of is there's a bunch, actually, I'm not sure they come this close, but there's a bunch of humanoids that sort of, at least they are in this area, I think. They're not following the road, there are some hills, but maybe like 6, 7 level 50s going together. I think they're actually part of at least a tailoring quest. Because my Shadow Priest is Taylor, and she actually got a quest from them that due to it was a tailoring quest. And someone made 60, that's nice. Nice to see the servers alive. And it's actually a cloak. Yeah, it's not as good as what I have, so yeah. My rogue might need it. I have a rogue leatherworker as well. So it will be sent there. And yeah, this chest looks interesting, so again, I suppose this is at least some kind of double pull. We're gonna root this guy. And these guys use web, good to know. I can always get out just by changing form, so it's not that bad. But generally webs are always kind of nasty, I think. And yeah, nice crappy chest here. So again, looting one, killing the other. So at least the slavers are using these webs. But as you can see here, just by changing form, I'm out. Do remember a little bit from my PvP days, after all. Not that I've PvP'd that much on druid, it was more like the other way around. It was impossible to keep these guys, you know, rooted in place or staying still. I mean, they resist like... back then I used to play mage somewhat. I'm not great at PvP or anything. Oh, by the way, talking about the sun, here are these guys that I was... that group of humanoids that I was talking about. And I could see how far they actually go. I'm just gonna find a nice place to drink. It's useful to know where this sort of patrol is heading. So they're, yeah, 49, 50, just something like that. I'm just gonna mark them, because to my knowledge these are the only sort of threat that can sort of ambush you, or I wouldn't even call it an ambush, because you're sort of... it's your own awareness that's missing. It's not like they are ambushing you. But to my knowledge, they're sort of traveling back and forth in the northern parts. Yeah, and as you can see now, they're turning back. So sometimes they will even go, I think, as far as up here. By the way, now that I've got them, if you ever have to kill them due to being a tailor, it's actually possible to take them one by one. You're supposed to kill all of them for the tailoring quest. But it's actually, if they engage, and they will, with other mobs, I can imagine actually they have already done that now. But now that you can see that they are engaged with the spider, even though they kill it pretty fairly fast, they will meet some higher level mobs as well. You can pick them off one by one. When they are engaged already, they don't sort of skip the target they are already on. But that's a little, yeah, extra. If you were a tailor and wanted to do the tailoring quest, I'm not quite sure what the prerequisites are. Besides being a tailor, of course. I mean, what level in tailoring and what level you have to be, stuff like that. Oh. I think I'll actually take this guy first. How nice of him to let me finish my cast. And he's doing something that actually hurts quite a bit. Some kind of fire nova, yeah, 300 damage. Not very nice of you. So I'd like to get these guys, but I'm gonna have respawns. I already have respawns behind me. So I'd like to have some kind of escape route, and I'm gonna make my escape route this way. I think there are two like different kind of mobs here: the taskmasters and the slavers, and uh, yeah, I guess they can respawn as either. So far, I've had most of the slavers, so I'd like to kill one of these guys now. Consider yourself the chosen one. And here comes Mr. Webb. Yeah, there we go. So there are some other kind of mobs here that look pretty much the same of the dwarves, and one of them could drop some kind of smithing stuff, and another one spyglass. So I'll put that into the back of my head as well, looking out for. I think some of them are over here. But yeah, it's pretty much kill everything in sight, almost, at the moment. Well, not quite. I could have taken kill 20 spiders quest, but I chose not to, like I said, as it was a 49 quest. So, Steam Smith, yeah, I guess this is one of the guys that I need. Oh, pretty lucky, I guess, because I think the drop rate is fairly low. So I'm just looking at my inventory, bro. I haven't forgotten you. While playing WoW, by the way, I'm thinking of it due to the web. I've died 4 times so far. 2 times on warrior and 2 times on druid. Uh, Interestingly enough, the same way. So I guess I didn't learn it quite due to dying in a particular way. So my warrior died. I think the first one is level 38 and the second one is like 32. But due to same circumstances, really, it was I was getting whipped the first time by some kind of humanoids in Strangleton Vale, in Curtin's compound. It's called. It's an alliance quest area, so I didn't know the area too well, and I just got there's a lot of patrols sort of crisscrossing, and eventually I just got social aggro from a lot of them, from no aggro to a ton of aggro actually, and at so and I actually had a swiftness potion. I bought one of those. It was pretty much back when hardcore had just been released. So you know, it wasn't like I had the recipe or an alchemist for that matter. But anyway, so yeah, and stuff like that was kind of expensive. But what the reason why I couldn't get away was that there was at least 2 mobs of the mobs that were on me that had um, the ability to web. So I waited until one of the webs ran out, and I could see I'm not gonna be able to survive this. So there's only one option is to, yeah, uh, death or dishonor, so to speak. So I picked dishonor. You could say I'm gonna run away here, or at least try to. And the second I used my, after the first duration of web was gone, I used my speed pod and tried to run away, but then the other mob webbed me again, and I kind of knew there that I was screwed. I'm not gonna get away from this one. So, yeah, story of the warrior, 2 times web, 2 times dead. So I have like post-traumatic stress about, you know, being webbed, but this is an entirely different game due to being druid. I mean, web is nothing here. I'll just change to any of my other shapes that is possible, and obviously I can't do aquatic form right now, but that would be the same, I suppose. If I got webbed by some murloc underwater, no problem. I just run away. Oh yeah, and Druid, I suppose if you've seen some of these episodes, you'll know that both time pretty much the same way again, like the warrior, but this was like being in closed environments where I can't get out. Yeah, maybe I should drink a little here. And yeah, I'm just getting, I got like overwhelmed by the mobs and no sort of escape, and just as the previous episode with the large launch here, I just know instinctively that I don't want 3 mobs hitting on me if I can avoid it, even if they are like 5 levels below me or something like that. Mainly because my cast is getting interrupted, so I have a hard time doing any kind of DPS when I'm getting constantly interrupted. Guess that goes without saying. Yeah, well, there could be some rare high-level elite. There usually are in almost every area, but I haven't noticed any of them yet. I mean, grinding here with my Shadow Priest, for instance. So let's see, is this a triple pull? Oh yeah, it's a little, don't fall down here, guys, I guess. That would be not so, you might get saved by landing on this one, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not gonna try. So a couple of slavers here. Yeah, fine, you're going down, guys. I think I could pull these guys one by one. So it's actually kind of silly not to use them. And this sort of Dark Iron Scraps, it can be used eventually if you want to improve your reputation with the Thorium Brotherhood, who is right up there. You can see the flag from the Horde fly point there. You have to hand in, I have no idea about how many, and there are various stuff that you can get inside Blackrock Mountains where you're in a group or raid there that can improve your reputation with these guys. Further, they have, you could say, why would you want to do that besides being a completionist? Well, they have various recipes and, I don't know, gadgets, whatever. Um, but it's especially the recipes for most kind of professions. So the lookouts here I'm trying to kill, well they can drop key, I can see that. The key to freedom, but it's mainly due to the Spyglass. And sure, I'll take a fire bloom while I'm here. So there's a 48 elite up there, I'm not gonna screw around with him, not at the moment anyway. I think these guys you have to kill eventually in order to get to these towers. And with mana and stuff, I suppose he's up for a group quest. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. Uh, difference you could say with when they have a mana pool, I can't use my usual sort of kite melee elites like I usually do on Boomkin here or Moonkin. I mean, they can while they are. Doesn't make any sense to actually use roots because they can just do damage to me from a distance, just like I do to them. Heart of Fire is probably not the worst to get. Part of some kind of yeah crafting material. Some of them have had probably the golems here had some kind of knockback, and I can imagine it would be that nice being knocked back down there. Something one should take into consideration, of course. So that was the last of the golems. Yeah. I don't know, it seems like the slavers have a higher chance to uh, spawn, except for the taskmasters or whatever they were called. That's okay, they can both drop the key, so I guess I'll just grind a few extra of those guys. They may probably be elsewhere on the map as well. Oh yeah, I forgot the spell can actually have a small chance to stun the target. Only fair with this sort of eternal cast rate. And one more of these quest items, that's great. So what I need the most are these, yeah, especially taskmasters. Yeah, I got tricks too, bro. With all your whipping. So, I think there's actually 2 taskmasters down here. Perfect. And I guess you got the idea about why I would like 100 hit points instead of 50 on the chest piece. I'm gonna give it a couple of shoutouts in the guild before I equip it. And like I said, my current enchanters, they're pretty sort of lousy. I can only do mainly this sort of standard stuff. Okay, just gotta check my escape route. It's gonna be this way. Yeah. Oh, actually do one at a time here. Fine. Just gonna lure out this guy. I can imagine there's some of them on the other side of the map. Maybe I'm wrong. Doesn't actually look like it, to be honest. I think a lot of those that I can see are sort of below ground. Actually, where I'm sitting, there's a massive sort of citadel below me that's part of, I think, the Blackrock Mountain. And I'm definitely not a pro in that area. I'm looking forward to try it out eventually. I never did back in the days, and I think back when I started World of Warcraft was, I don't know, when there was like 2 weeks left before the Burning Crusade expansion. So when I was completely amazed about everything in vanilla, everybody was running off to the Burning Crusade. So I pretty much had the world to myself. That no one, to me was new and amazing, but to everybody else it was old school because people had been playing for quite a few years by then, and were of course all gung ho for yeah, for the next uh, for the expansion. That's understandable. Oh, and again, I can do one at a time here. So yeah, I pretty much played alone. I started to PvP some on low level because I met a couple of guys that was doing that, and it was kind of fun to twink and do battlegrounds, mainly against other twinks, but still. Um, but when I eventually decided to move on, I was pretty much alone because most people were doing, I wouldn't say alone, but there was not a lot of people to sort of teach you anything about the game because everybody was the Burning Crusade. And I think now that I'm thinking of it, it's been like that for a long time, where I sort of, when I was ready for the Burning Crusade, people was about to move on to Wrath of the Lich King, etc., etc. And it's okay. I prefer. I wouldn't enjoy the game if I had to sort of skip an expansion to be where everybody else is. I wanted to learn the game sort of from the bottom. By the way, this guy, he dropped the key that I actually needed. Well, I didn't need it, but it is the optional quest that's here. So one other thing is that working in real life, I'm working 3 different shifts, so it's very hard for me to get some consistent raiding going or stuff like that. Because usually when people raid, I'm at work, or I have to get ready for work or something like that. So yeah, I'd love to try it at some point. I mean, some of the raids I just did them solo when could. I remember I did, and that's the craziest part. I did like 350 runs for Baron Rivendar's mount alone when I was level 70. Um, but I actually made a fortune out of it, even though I was Tailor Enchanter on my mage back then. But I did it because I wanted that skeleton mount, because it would look awesome on a human. Back then I was Alliance. Uh, but it ended up I had a mate that was had a raiding guild, and he wanted me to join, even though I was a complete noob for raiding in Wrath of the Lich King. So eventually I left my Alliance sort of hideout and turned Horde instead, and I've been there ever since. Um, I'm just gonna go hand in that key, by the way. It's down there by the outhouse, now that I got it. But yeah, so I left my sort of being Alliance and turned Horde, and then my quest was all messed up. I was actually kind of tired about it because I've been doing so much Alliance stuff back then. So yeah, um, but I'm not that much of a lore or sentimental guy or something about that. But if I had to choose a faction, I would definitely choose Horde. It's just, I don't know, it just feels right. I can't really explain why. Maybe I don't know. I just think dwarves are ugly. I mean, in game. And gnomes. The only thing I like about gnomes is actually that the warrior sounds really hilarious when they sort of roar. Um, they can make some kind of sound when they roar. It's just it's really really funny. But besides that, yeah, night elves are too sort of flimsy for me. Sure, they look pretty and all, but especially the males, they look. I think they look odd, to be honest. Um, yeah, and said the Tauren. I know. I'm just gonna pick the fire blooms I can get to here, and I'm pretty sure these guys whips as well. Just to keep that in mind. Maybe I should do this golem while I'm here. I need 1 drop for the flawless flame. But the plan is still to go. Okay, I screwed that up royally. Just gonna move away, so hopefully don't get too... Gonna move a little further. But yeah, that was pretty much my... And then after, I think... I did a bit of Wrath of the Lich King, and that was a very, very tiny bit of the expansion afterwards, that Cataclysm. But then I realized that it was becoming a job for me. Because I wanted to do everything on all my characters, and sure you can do that, but you won't have a life besides, so I sort of call it quits. And I pretty much thought I had left the game for good. It's fine. I got what I came for, what was possible, you could say, with my working 3 shifts and all. Made some friendships, but you know they didn't last. I still have. I think the very first guy I met in here, he's a Swede, and I still have him added, and he has me added. I know, but we don't really talk that much anymore. It's not like we're talking. It's been like 20 years, so. But yeah, you can make those kind of special connections, and they sort of last. Anyway, I'm handing in the key. So. Oh, did he actually get out? Interesting. Of course, because I just locked him out. He was locked in. Okay, so you can actually see this dwarf. I've been handing him, I think in a previous episode I was handing him toilet paper. So yeah, anyway, I had about my World of Warcraft career here. I had a long break, at least 10 years, maybe more. And like I said, I thought I was sort of done with the game, but I guess I wasn't. Let's try and do this right. And yeah, what sort of made me come back is definitely sort of I like the finality. If you fuck up here, it's over. I kind of like that a lot, and that was sort of my instinct to get back. The other thing was that if you okay, there's a lot of lookouts here. People play this game differently. I mean, when you know that you have to sort of do your best in order to survive, there's less of the go, 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 the sort of retail mentality, and I really do not like that part of it. Everything has to be in a rush and fast and stuff like that. And that's the part of the game that I always disliked. And you can see with my extremely slow leveling, because I'm so thorough, I'm used to grinding like this, and it's no pain to me, but I'm quite aware that some people will find this agonizingly slow to level like this, and it's okay. We're different, sort of. By the way, we got the Spyglass, that's nice, quest item. And I know that I think I can imagine that maybe 90% or more of the player base like to do things as fast as possible, and I would say that goes for hardcore as well, but not that in that extreme sense that everything has to be extremely fast. In retail, what I often experience that people come when they are way under leveled and they want to be carried, and I have a rather masculine opinion about that. That you know, I want people to carry their part of the weight. So I get a little annoyed when people are like very impatient, and on the same time they're not pulling their part. I don't want. It's not like I need people to do the DPS or something like that, but at least sort of be prepared for the dungeon or the quest, and maybe level your professions if you have something like, you know, an intellect potion or a sharpening stone or whatever. Then bring what you can bring to the table, sort of. Um, that's just my humble opinion, and that's the part of the hardcore community that I found out that so far pretty much everyone is coming fairly prepared. It's a rarity, sort of, if they are not. Even though, yeah, most people will find my pace of leveling agonizingly slow. I'm quite aware of that, and it's okay. But I prefer to do this way. I'm just thorough. I'm thorough with most of the things I do in real life as well. I'd rather do a good job or an excellent job than I'll do a shitty job. To be honest, if I have to choose between a shitty job and no job, I'd rather do no job. I take no pride in. By the way, here are our nasty guys, or the group guys there again. Just gonna leave them. What I want is these guys, and actually these guys especially. I think I could solo. This isn't double pull. But I'm quite aware that we are different as people, and I respect that. It's okay. I just prefer. Yeah, that sounds a bit stupid, but no, not stupid, but a little annoying. But I prefer things to do things my way, and I guess most people do that. So even the sort of I call them, and I know it sounds a bit patronizing. I guess it's not. It's just reality. I think I call them the retail rush mind, something like that. But it's more like to. It's not to patronize them, but to more to sort of try to explain how I look at them. And I've seen a couple of times at least that, you know, people are wiping because they are underleveled or are trying to rush things too fast. There was, for instance, there was a group at some point, it's a couple of months ago, where they were forming up a group for the Hinterlands elite quests, actually, and I was just had to see where I'm gonna attack these guys. I want my precious escape route here. But yeah, there was a group of 5 forming up. Just gonna loot this guy. They were forming up, yeah, standard stuff. Forming up a group for Hinterlands elite quests. That you kind of, it's not an easy. You can easily fuck that up. Those quests, I mean, and I just figured them as kind of underleveled. Usually you'll be in your sort of 50s, mid 50s, and some of them were, I think, as low as 47, stuff like that. So my instinct told me to leave it. I think the tank was maybe 46 or 47. So some of the quests would definitely be red or orange to him or something like that, and that's the tank who's supposed to carry it. So I said no thanks. I actually got an invite on my, I think it was on my Shadow Priest, and sure enough, I think 3 or 4 of them wiped later. I could see that from the Deathlog add-on, and it's not like I'm gloating or anything. I feel good about it. On the contrary, I think it's too bad when we lose people here in the community. But on the other hand, the sort of retail brain has to learn that this is a different kind of game. So if you play this cautiously and you buff up and etc., then it's probably for your own good and for the good of your group as well. Let's see if I can do a single pull here, or if it's both of them again. So I'm gonna root the other guy. Oh, and screwed that up royally. It's this guy I wanted to root by. when I do extra damage to him, he has a larger chance of getting out of his loop. Just gonna reboot him. Okay, and then he instantly broke it. Interesting. But yeah, it's just my opinion. People can play the game like they want. Um, it's a free world. So yeah, but I think it's just, you know, maybe it's just easier that I play with guys that sort of are a little bit thorough, and other people can play with the sort of retail mindset. Again, it's not patronizing. It's just try to explain how I look at it. And by retail, I mean, and that's sort of the feeling I have about retail. It doesn't appeal to me at all because it's this go, 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 rush, get things done really quick so you can hurry up and do something else. And that's just that's that's close to torture to me. I don't want to play or do anything like that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I still need a Heart of Flame here, so actually have changed my rotation a little. Challenges, challenges. And I even fucked it up anyway. I should went twice start fire and then moonfire. I'll probably survive. There we go. And I got the last one. Sweet. So what I need now is 5 taskmasters. But yeah, the map so far here on the surface is not that challenging, but there will be quests later on, especially below, where it becomes things starts to become a challenge. Oh, and by the way, due to me sort of my mindset, you could say the slow-mo, if you have to be uh, a little patronizing, my slow-mo leveling here, then with as sort of a low server population on top, it's hard enough, I mean, to get a group going, even if you have the sort of retail mindset. Yeah, especially if you have the retail mindset. But I think at some point when I did Alderman last. Oh, interesting. Oh, okay, that was pretty stupid. I don't need this guy, so I'm just gonna dump him. How about that, bro? Didn't mean anything by it. I got distracted that I got the. It's actually an alchemy. Okay, I already know it. No big deal then. I was just hoping I got a sweet recipe here, but yeah, I sort of did. It's not worth that much, really. Would be awesome for Fire Mage. Oh. Okay, back to business. The guy I actually needed was there. But yeah, it's pretty hard to get a dungeon going on this server still. And that's another good reason to why I have some alts that I'm playing now and then, because I'm just trying to get ready for the dungeons, and when they appear, I have my quest ready. I know what the dungeon's all about. I know the final boss, and so, for instance, I did for the first time since I started, I did um, Sunken Temple on my Shadow Priest, which I'm extremely proud of, because it's hard to get a dungeon going, and I actually have read about all the bosses, and especially the last one, and what was really cool was that the last boss, I will explain it when I get there on the druid here, but the last boss will at some point make a long cast that cannot be interrupted, of course, because bosses cannot be interrupted. Usually anyway, in dungeons I mean, or raids for that matter. Otherwise I guess it would be fairly easy to kill them if they couldn't cast some nasty spells. I just killed this guy in order to get to his nice chest here. Thank you very much. And the last boss in Sunken Temple, some kind of dragonkin, something that looks like a dragon, big green fucker. He cast a spell on the. Just gonna hand in this quest while I'm here. It might lead to another that I need to do anyway while I'm here. Let's see. Yeah, thorium plated daggers. I'm not quite sure where they drop. Oh, but I think it's pretty much the mobs I'm killing already, so I'm pretty glad I handed in that quest. Yeah, it drops from the taskmasters that I need to kill anyway. Great. Well, I'm glad I handed it in now at least. Um, so, um, yeah, about the last boss in Sunken Temple, I forgot his name. It's something with N. Um, oh, got my Moonkin form here. Distractions, distractions. But he casts some spell. It has a long cast time. And when he has casted it, okay, now they're spamming me with these recipes here. And it makes the tank, I think, immobile or sort of in a dream state. It can't do anything. It's just locked in place, and it's like pretty much like when a rogue blinds you or something. So the tank is out of the picture for, I think, at least 10 seconds. And what the boss will do then is it will go for the the highest DPS. Oh, should have done that instead as a secondary target. And I knew that already, and the group I was in was a little bit. They were not, well, some were over leveled and some were, but it was a decent group. And uh, the thing is, when I actually got the aggro, I don't know if the other guys, if I was highest DPS at the moment, but I got the aggro for sure. Oh, these guys can drop the daggers as well, so I just killed some of those. And I actually got that twice. And I guess it goes without saying that, you know, um, when a boss is hitting you and not the tank, it hurts a lot. But I knew it would happen, so what I did was I ran through the tank. Normally people will, if they don't know what's happening, you will panic when the tank, when you get aggro from the boss and the boss hits you once, because that's always felt no matter what class you are. Unless you are the tank, of course. But so what you can do here when you know it will happen is, first of all, you're not gonna panic. So what I did in order to conserve some of the healers' mana as well is that as a Shadow Priest I can still cast shield. So I could shield myself for like 700, 800 damage. And then I ran to the tank, so that when the tank got out of that state, the tank could immediately sort of start building up aggro on the boss again. And it's good for me to learn these mechanics, to know that. I'm sure you can use that later in some kind of raid, stuff like that, that, you know, you really have to know the bosses, so don't go any further when you don't know what the boss is all about. Oh, so for some reason I just opened Office here. It's one of the reasons why I hate the new Windows here, because, yeah, well, like I've just been preaching, you could of course try to put yourself in what this Windows update is actually about, but the last one, but yeah, you're not normal in the head if you want to read like 500 pages about that. And I guess it's my retail brain, but just about another subject. That, you know, I don't want to put the effort into learning about this Windows expansion, so if sometimes I accidentally push 2 or 3 keys at the same time, and then I sort of get sort of get out of the game. Sometimes I'm not quite sure what kind of buttons this is but when I'm going left sometimes and then pushing 1 or 2 other buttons, it Windows creates a new desktop, and that's rather annoying because I get thrown out of the game then. But what I do is I sort of alt tab out to that particular new, or back to the game, or just alt tab out to the new window that has been created, and then um, I can close it down. In the beginning when that happened, I've done it maybe like 10 times total. I still don't know what kind of buttons I'm pushing. The only thing I'm sure of is that I'm pulling. I'm 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 well. I move on W, A, D, and S. So I'm definitely going left. That means A, and I don't know what other buttons I'm pushing. It happens rarely, but it happens sort of sometimes. But at least now I'm not panicking anymore because I know how to get out of it. And it's pretty much the same about the the dungeon of Sunken Temple. Know what you're supposed to do, and you're not gonna panic. Everything is not necessarily easy. You have to be on your toes, and that's the thing about this game, that stuff like that will only sort of go on and on, you could say. So eventually, when you reach, say, Naxxramas, if you ever get that far, yeah, there will be a lot of bosses and um, sort of, what do you call it, phases in the fight with the boss. Just gonna let him come to me because I'm lazy, then I can loot him here and not there. Come on, bro. He's brave, he's coming with like no hit points here. You get the stick for your bravery, bro. There we go. Alrighty. So, 4 knives to go. I wonder if these guys can drop them too. Actually they can, so I might as well just grind some of these guys as well. But yeah, that was my World of Warcraft career, you could say, and um, my idea of retail brain and my own sort of moral code on how to play the game or how to live your life, sort of do things right, if you can, of course. There can be exceptions where it's not possible or it doesn't make any sense to, try to do things the right way. I've been renovating my house. It's a personal thing, of course, but I'm just gonna bring it up here because it's a bit same. I've been renovating my house for a couple of years now, and what I do if I have a period when I'm sort of fed up with it is that I take a break from it, and that makes sense, of course. But on the other hand, you want to sort of finish the job. But what I can do is work, some extra, make some extra money, so I have more money to renovate my house, stuff like that. And um, what I wanted to say about it is I have the same sort of issue, you could say, that I don't want to renovate my house fast and make it look like, I wouldn't say shit, but make it look cheap with cheap materials. I want to do my house right the first time if possible, so I study the subject, talk to people that know stuff about it, because I haven't tried it myself. And I use quality materials, but it takes longer time because I have to save up more money for it. And let's say, for instance, I've done completing my basement, and I hope it has been the worst part of renovating a house, in a 3-story house, where there's a basement and a ground floor and what do you call it, an attic or a first floor, um, where I have to sort of um, I have to make it rain to get the basement dry, and it was suffering. It was an old house. It's from 1947. But so I have to make it rain, and when I started out, I didn't have that much money, so I had to sort of do it by hand, what I could, instead of sort of renting machines. So I actually dug it by hand all around the house, and then inside the basement I had to grind it out by hand as well, because I had to uh, do concrete below the existing foundation. I had a bricklayer helping me with that. It's not a job for a noob, you could say. In so I had a guy to help me with stuff, but the thing is, I dug everything by hand, including I dug out a 100 square meter basement, where I have to get like, I think, half a meter down, something like that, to make room for insulation, for for floor heating and yeah, the insulation itself, stuff like that. It's a long story, and you probably didn't come here to hear about how to insulate a basement, but it the thing is, it's the same sort of. It's just to show that I'm consistent with this mindset that I prefer to do things right, or rather not do them. And to me, playing this game right is completing it. I don't get the same satisfaction from sort of doing in my mindset, a half-assed. Uh, I mean, doing half the quest in order to get to level 60 as fast as possible. It just feels wrong. I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. So I've tried at least to explain why I play in this peculiar way, and I probably have some kind of OCD or something like that. And it's okay. I think we all have some kind of issues. The question is if you can live with your issues with other people as well or not. So it's not like I'm medicated for my situation. If you get my drift. Anyway, last quest completed. Beautiful. And yeah, one thing that's for sure about World of Warcraft, I give the retail brains that things always take longer than you expect. So I was thinking this quest will probably take an hour or something like that, but it's actually more like an hour and a half now, I think, something like that. Usually my this potion of intellect lasts for an hour, so that gives me an idea of how much time I'm spending. Anyway, let's hand in the quests, see what happens. 50 elite, yeah, we'll do that later. And I think the rest of the quest I handed in up here, yeah. And as you can see, I'm gonna get a chunk of experience now, and with 5 or 6 other level 48 quests that I'd like to complete while I'm 53. All this experience add up, so I shouldn't do too many of the 49s and 50s in this area. Not now, anyway. So I'm gonna hand in. And what do you have? 49, 49. And this offers very nice, interesting gloves. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the money. So let's see what kind of quest do we have left here. 50, 50, 50. So with my newfound friends here of the Thorium Brotherhood, I bid you a fair farewell, and thanks for watching and listening to all my mumbo jumbo here. So see you in the next video. Take care. Bye. With the beautiful, actually, Blackrock Mountain here in the back. Looks awesome. Yeah. See you around. Bye bye.